Okay, so press down inside this portion, release the pin, worked quite well on the other one. There we go. Okay. Now see, I'll be able to get heat shrink over this and get it shrunk around that. I'm going to take a pause on that and work on this part because this is really what I wanted to show you. So we have a couple options here. You can see mostly these wires are too short really to connect. So we have two options, especially this one. We can add wire in between, or you can just kind of bunch out the edges and make it happen. That's not the best way, but if you don't have any extra wire, that's an understandable way to deal with this problem. I'm going to do a double splice on this to make it long enough, and then we'll go from there. So simple, easy, quick strip here. I'll strip just a little bit more off of here and make this clean. Okay, now it's red and blue. I'm going to add a little piece of red in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these side by side, the same length. I'll twist them together. A lot of people are just going to stop there, put some tape over it. I'll wipe a little rosin across it. I'm going to allow that to heat in there. Okay. Now we really need more than two hands on this. They make tools for that, but I'm going to show you without the tool. So I don't know how well you can see this, but I'll hold the soldering iron on the wire first. Heat the wire up because you want the solder to go all inside the wire. You don't just want to be dabbing solder on the outside. Now I'm holding a little solder to the end of the soldering iron and the tip of the wire. I need to turn the soldering iron up a little bit. Normally it doesn't take this long, but all you want is to see your joint, your copper joint, twisted wires, turn silver. You don't need a big glob on there. Yeah, I should have had my solder iron all the way up. Again, I'm heating the wire with the soldering iron, not putting the solder directly on the soldering iron. Once I've got a joint, as you can see, already heat it, make sure that solder pulled all down inside it. You want it to be fairly small. You don't need it big and bulky. Okay, now let's see, since this is the shortest one, I bend it over against itself, like so. Pull it up here to see how long it needs to be. Cut it off about right here. Strip it, the same process. But before we go any further, I need to get some heat shrink on here or we won't be able to later. So I've got some red heat shrink here, just happen to have it. We'll slide that up on this portion of the wire. It looks like it'll be long enough to cover. Again, twist them together. Apply some rosin. first to pull the rosin in it, and apply solder to the outside. Hold the heat there for a little longer to pull it all inside. Have another joint. Okay, I'm going to bend this one back toward the other one just to decrease the amount of space needed there. Slide our heat shrink over. Okay, I'm just a wee bit short on that heat shrink. I have a heat gun here. Again, this is a fairly expensive tool, but you can use a hair dryer, you can use a match, you can use any kind of open flame will work. You want to be careful, a little bit more careful with an open flame, but it will work. It doesn't take special products necessarily. I'm just going to do this one joint just to show you how. Another thing I like to use that I'm not using here is liquid electrical tape. You can get it at most hardware stores. Once again, it's not expensive. And a bottle of it will go a long ways. What I'll do is I'll put it on the joint after I'm done soldering it, and then slide the heat shrink over it. Basically makes it 100% waterproof. Try to heat evenly from all sides. The more expensive the heat shrink, the better quality it's going to be, the better job it's going to be. I'm just using some cheap stuff here for illustration. The thing about wiring is that the cleaner the job you do, probably the better the joint and the longer it's going to last. So when I'm done with all of this, I will have peeled this tape back. I'll get all of these joints nice and dressed up. Then I'll get them dressed into where they need to go like this. Pull the covering back over and tape it up neatly. It'll have a lot better chance of being a good connection after that. So I'm going to stop the video there. That's one joint out of about 6 in this harness that need repaired. You can see it's not hard.